Hey, it's Aaron, metal theologian. Not listening to metal right now, though. It's actually Donovan, man. This is probably my favorite Donovan record, but yeah, I don't talk about Donovan a whole lot, but I actually really like Donovan. It's a little hit and miss for me. Like some of, like there were a couple earlier records that were a lot more sort of straight like folk records. They've never done a whole lot for me. I actually pulled this one out earlier too, because this is about the same era. I didn't like the songs on this one quite as much. But yeah, there are a couple albums that I think are really fantastic, man. Like you know, what I really like about these records, actually, especially like Hurdy Gurdy Man and Mellow Yellow, is that the songs sort of feel like little fragments. You know, there's certain records like that where it feels like instead of a collection of songs, it's almost like a collection of thoughts. You know what I mean? And it's sort of expressed in a song or in the form of a song, and it's short, and that's kind of it. You know, the first record I always think of along those lines too is actually "Low" by David Bowie. The other, you know, albums kind of have that too. Heroes has it to a certain degree, you know, around like the big obvious hit, right? But on Low, I kind of feel like those songs too are sort of fragments, you know what I mean? Like, I don't mean fragments like incomplete, but just sort of more like, here's a thought, like I said, you know, as opposed to something fully fleshed out and written out with a beginning, middle, and end, and sort of a traditional structure, you know, in some way or another. Yeah. So it's been a little bit of a mishmash here. Still been listening to a fair bit of rap, okay? And in fact, actually, I wasn't even sure about showing this because these are kind of sketchy pressings. But this fucking record, man, I've been so into. This is not an original, that's why it's, there's a place that's sort of done some of these unofficially. I think there's actually a lathe cut, in fact. But, yeah, Ka, man. The shit's so fucking good. And the fact that you can make a rap record as interesting as this, even for someone who's not like all that into the lyrics like me, you know. I mean, what he's saying is intelligent and shit. Like to the degree that I'm listening to it, it's like, yeah, this guy, he's like saying something, you know. But for me, it feels like a funny thing to say that like I don't care about the words when I'm listening to rap music, you know. I mean, it's called rap, right? Like when you rap with someone. I always think of there was an issue of Mad Magazine a long time ago, like probably like in the early 80s or something, where they were trying to like take like Bible stories and making them hip, and one of them was like Moses raps with God on Mount Sinai. That's always what I think of when I think about using the word rap just like as an ordinary verb and not as a music style. Anyway, like without the words even, regardless, and you can hear this because the rappers know this too, you know. The words have certain sounds, and those sounds can create music and be like become part of sort of the way the voice is used as an instrument on top of the other instrumentation of the song. You know what I mean? Different vowel sounds and that sort of thing can have an impact. And like, I mean, I heard about these sort of a couple of these drumless records here, and obviously, you know, real ones are like, you're not gonna find that shit. I mean, yeah. So, doing the best I can, because I really do like to listen to shit on record, even if sometimes I have to like spend money that I could also spend on Spotify, just listen to for free on YouTube, but that's the way it goes. I'm kind of set in my ways at this point. So yeah, I've been listening to some of that kind of shit. Actually, let me go into this too. It's funny, there's been a little bit of talk lately about like on Little Bill's channel, like you know, on his second channel, actually, Little Bill's Barbershop. This is most of my exposures, but he's been talking about like rap fatigue or something like that, where people are complaining about records coming out that aren't good. And then I fucking listen to this. There's this new Armand Hammer record. It's fucking fantastic, man. The shit is so good. I'm gonna throw it on for a minute. This is just with The Alchemist too. There are just so many interesting records out there, and like on the one hand, it's annoying when I come across someone like, you know, Ka, where like I really want to get the shit that's just like not really available. On the other hand, it sort of forces me to be on top of the shit a little bit more than I tend to be. You know, I kind of tend to hang back and take my time a little bit and sort of see if a record's going to be worth it or not when it's a newer release. And I don't know. I mean, I joke about being a shitty fan because if a band makes a lousy record, I'll bail. You know, I won't stick around and like give each subsequent record a fresh chance. But on the other hand, I don't know. I think this is maybe the downside of it. You know what I mean? Or maybe that little habit isn't so funny. So I'm kind of trying to break it a little bit. On the other hand, some of these guys are so prolific. I'm just like not going to go out and get every single record that these guys make. You know, if you're putting out 10 records a year, I'm not going to be buying them all, especially not if they're like $50 a piece, you know? Like, I understand about people trying to make a living off this shit too. Like, no shade on any of that stuff. It's just, you know, that sort of completist shit I already do with metal. I've kind of done it with jazz to a point where I'm satisfied with it, and like the obvious section and shit. The German section, definitely. With rap, I kind of more just want to like have a nice selection of shit that I can reach for when I feel like hearing it. This is great, man. This is so good. If there's an ad on here, it's probably because of this. But you know something? Fuck it. They deserve it. Awesome record, man. Really highly recommend this thing, too. And actually, speaking of Armand Hammer, too, there's a recent reissue that some of us have been obsessing over that finally shipped. It's this reissue of Haram, also by Armand Hammer. Great record, too, man. But I think I might like this new one even more. It's funny, it's kind of like some of the shit that I play in the background sometimes in my videos. That's Scott Ree's channel, by the way, REA. He's like a legit like meat cutter and shit. And yeah, I totally recommend his channel. I'll try to remember to put a link in, but if you don't know what the hell I'm talking about, then that's okay too. That's not really the focus of the video, I hope. You know what I mean? It's just sort of little ambiance in the background. Yeah, you know who else I got sort of got into the hip hop front too is someone in the comments section, as usual. I can't remember who it was, but someone, and thank you, I really appreciate it. So I need to check out some Year Old Droog. And frankly, I'd heard of this act. You know, it was kind of, it occurred to me to be curious. But I was like, that fucking Clockwork Orange reference is a little bit too clever. So, you know, usually when bands are trying to be like cute with the references and shit, I'll sort of be like, I'll go check these other guys out or just do whatever. This shit is great, man. I would have made a big mistake if I hadn't like gone and investigated. This is Time, and I actually grabbed this one too. Another boot right here too, fucking West Side Gun. It's a great cover, isn't it? Same deal, man. If I can't get a hold of this shit otherwise, I'll buy legitimate records, legit pressings. But yeah, this record is fantastic, man. It's the only record that I ever heard that has Russian rapping on it too. There are like a couple songs in here. It's like with the God Fahim and Mac Homie. Billy Woods is on here. I mean, a lot of, yeah. I mean, LP does some work on one of these songs, and Black Thought. It's a great record, man. An interesting mix of shit too, but just fundamentally, just like cool shit. See, I love these different things going on in here. You know what I mean? This is the sort of record that I'm talking about when I talk about how shit's come so far since the 90s, you know? Because I love my boom bap, you know? Like, there's certain records, like Black Moon, obviously, like Jeru the Damager and shit like that I kept from, like, my boom bap kick from a few years ago, where it was all, like, 90s shit. And hey, this one's sitting right here too. I just played it. Speaking of Black Moon, shout out to Harmless Rebel actually for putting me onto this record. That motherfucker, on his channel, he maybe only talks about metal, and I think he talks about country like maybe once a year or something, but mostly metal. But he fucking knows his classic rap shit too. He was like, yeah, if you think Black Moon, you can check out that Smith and Wesson solo album. That's great. I think they've done one or two others. This is the only one I have, but it's really good. But if it's choice between this and Enter the Stage by Black Moon, get the Black Moon record, because that is like the boom bap record as far as I'm concerned. Anyway, I totally lost my train of thought. What was I going to say about that? Oh yeah, so that's the only one I've ever heard with Russian shit on it. But I actually came across this in Seattle, and it was a little bit steep, but I just kind of couldn't resist, man. So, Racionais, Holocausto Urbano. And I guess these guys are from... You'd think I'd look for this kind of shit before... This is from 91 originally, though. So this is relatively early. And it's really sort of simple and stripped down. Fuck. Looks like they're from Brazil, because that looks like Portuguese. Yeah, this is definitely Portuguese. Okay. So the dudes are from Brazil, which means I'm probably pronouncing it wrong too, because I have a little bit of clue how to pronounce Spanish. I have no clue how to pronounce Portuguese, if I'm honest. You know what else is like that is Dutch. Like Dutch, I can kind of read a little bit of Dutch. I don't like know Dutch, okay? But I can kind of read a little bit of Dutch, like knowing English and German. But like if I hear spoken Dutch, I'm like, I don't know what the fuck you just said, dude. That just sounded completely bizarre. Like just like this fucking weirdo shit, you know? Yeah, I can't really even explain why. I don't know. Yeah, anyway, man, this one's really sort of stripped down. Let's fire this up for a minute, too. There's going to be some metal in this video in a little bit, too, I promise. Oh, look at that. I lost the inner. I haven't done that in a while, man. I've been on top of my shit here. There it is. That's like a thing. People take a shot when I'm playing records here and I lose an inner. All right, let's play Racionais for a second. Racionais? I don't know, man. Yeah. There's a really cool sort of foreignness to this. It's really a pretty basic, like, boot, you know, early hip-hop record. In a way, I don't want to overhype it, you know what I mean? Because there are a lot of records that kind of sound like this. It's not like the most, like, brand new, exciting thing you've ever heard, but... I'm just kind of digging it, you know? Like that sort of foreignness kind of like... I love the idea of international hip-hop. I mean, I know it's out there. I don't know if hip-hop is quite as international yet as metal is, but it's catching up. It's not. And it might be already for all I know, because I only know about... I know more than this much about rap now. I know about probably this much. I don't know if it's sometime in the not too distant future I'm probably going to make a video where it's like, here's some ones that I really liked. See what I mean about this one, though? It's a little bit obvious, you know? But just kind of charming, man. Alright, well, I promised, oh, actually, there's one other one I got fucking to show up. This fucking DJ Muggs record called Notes and Tones, which mostly consists of, is mostly built from Sun Ra samples. I'm like, dude, can you fucking, like, pander to me any more than that? Like, have you been watching my channel or something, motherfucker? Because, it's 2022. I mean, my channel is already fucking 8 years old at that point, or something like that. Now, I was worrying about the title Notes and Tones. It actually says, the only name that fit this record was that of the landmark book by the great jazz drummer Art Taylor. Yes, there's a copy of it on my shelf over there, and I've read it. So, yeah. Anyway, I do recommend this record. It's really good. But if it's choice between this one and DS Occidentum or whatever it's called, that really sort of weird, creepy one by DJ Muggs, I'd recommend the other one first. And if you're like, oh shit, I gotta go find that, let me like say something and I'll figure it, make sure I get the exact title in the comments so I remember right off. I don't want to run away. Yeah, here's one more I want to talk about actually too. This fucking Captain Murphy record. I bought this about 50% because the dude's, well, about 50% because I looked interesting. There's Earl's Sweatshirt making a guest appearance on it there, and Flying Lotus produced about half of it, so I was kind of curious how that would come out. And but the other half is because he's standing on a pile of skulls on the cover. And this is like a fucking concept album about starting a cult, man. This fucking record, like, I kind of want to put it on for a second here. Like, it's really cool. It's sort of at the outer edges, I think, a little bit of, being sort of a true hip hop record as far as like maintaining the beats and that kind of shit. The groove all the way through. There definitely gets a little bit cerebral, like even more than some of these Armand Hammer records, But let's fucking fire a couple minutes of this bad boy up. These labels are pretty awesome too. It's side 1. There's side 2. You can see in my kitchen there too. Look at that. All right, here we go. All right, so while this is starting up, I said I was going to show some metal. That's funny, I'm talking about obvious shit, right? Last night, I was watching a movie, I was lying on the couch, and I started thinking about that song Back in the Village by Iron Maiden. Because Marty Worm hates that song. He like bitches about it. He thinks it's the worst song on Power Slave. And I'm like, man, that fucking song is great. I was like thinking about it. I had that and the Duelists in my head, sort of alternating with each other. So yeah, I pulled this bad boy out. Listened to it earlier today. It's fucking great. Still sounds as good as it did in 1984. Yeah. And actually, it's kind of cool to show this too. If anyone hasn't seen it before, this is original. I still had this from this was probably on a jacket of mine back in the day, but I actually have no idea what happened to the jackets. I have no idea how the patch survived. But there you go. That's a really cool sound, isn't it? Like that guy's voice with like the effects and shit. Yeah, anyway, man. Next time you listen to your copy of Power Slave, because if you're watching this, you probably have a copy of Power Slave, let's be honest. Pay attention to Back in the Village, because I fucking love that song, dude. Yeah, that and Power Slave and Aces High are probably my favorite songs. But, something Flash of the Blade is really good, too. Hell, the whole album is really good. That's why I played it all the way through, as I'm wont to do. I finally got my hands on a copy of this too. This has sort of been on my radar for a while, but like originals aren't very expensive. It's like maybe $30 for one of these, right? But you've had shipping from Germany, which is where all the copies are. You're adding like $20-25 to that. All of a sudden, $50 kind of feels steep for what I knew was going to be a second-rate record, right? So, of course, I'm talking about Chainsaw. Hell's Burning Up. I always want to say Satan I Obey, because there's a black metal act from Chile called Chainsaw. It was one of the first black metal tapes I ever bought when I first got interested in that stuff. I think I still have it. But yeah, Chainsaw, Satan I Obey. It's pretty good. But this is more my taste these days. Hell's Burning Up. And you got a fucking bat holding a chainsaw? I mean, Jesus Christ, dude. Like, I don't think album art really gets much better than this, That's such a shitty back cover photo. Anyway, this is the reissue on Diabolic Might, and this just came from, Gary. Heavy Metal Museum. So this is Diabolic Might reissue. And I'm telling you, low-key, Diabolic Might is one of my favorite, like, reissue labels going right now out of Germany. Because they do a lot of this kind of shit that's sort of, like, not really the top-rate shit, like, sort of the second and third tier, like, German shit. But they just pick good records, man. Like, they did the first 2 MP records, which are great. They did, that, Breaker one. Going with the guy on the motorcycle, like, riding through the stained glass window. With the singer from, Accuser on it. I can't remember the fucking title of it. But, well, shit, man, let's just fucking settle this. I'm just gonna go get it, because,
We're going to talk to you about the most urgent thing that is on our mind, and what we suspect is the most urgent thing on the minds of those who will connect with us. Planet Earth is about to be recycled.
Yeah, Dead Rider.
To evacuate is to leave.
It's funny, that's what I was thinking the title was, but like it just didn't quite seem right. But that's because non-native English speakers, which around here we love dearly in heavy metal, and actually in all forms of music. But this is a great record too, man. Totally snoozed on. I remember seeing this back in the day, flipped right past it. And of course, I didn't have a lot of money then either, when I was a little fucking kid. I have a lot more money, like, in my 50s than I did in my teens, so it's easy to just sort of, like, roll the dice on something like that. But yeah, Diabolic Might, man, I don't grab everything. They did that, Stranger record, too, The Bell. That was another one I've been keeping an eye out for a while. I haven't grabbed everything that they've done. Like, not every single thing has been as interesting to me, but I always keep an eye on what they're putting out because they do some interesting shit. And yeah, shout out to Diabolic Might Records in Germany, man, because they're unearthing some gems, and some gems that others would be a little bit tougher than I'd like for me to get a hold of, So you know what struck me about this Chainsaw record? There's a little taste of this. It's great, isn't it? It's sort of understated in this weird way. It's a little bit heavy on sort of those little, like, just somebody talking samples in the middle of the record, that kind of shit. Yeah, you know what's funny? The very first song on this thing really reminds me of a Running Wild song. So I'm going to fire it up for a second. Y'all can tell me if you agree with me, if you think I'm just imagining things. Since I'm quick to tell you you're imagining things, like that there's a difference between speed metal and thrash metal. It's in your fucking heads. 20 people are going to explain it to me in the comments. I don't know, man. I have a fair bit of metal. I probably spent more hours of my life listening to metal than like a lot of people. And I'm still not convinced there's a difference between thrash metal and speed metal. Like the way he ends this line with the scream like that, it really reminds me of Diabolic Force by Running Wild. Anyway, this record, I was expecting to be like, 6 out of 10. It's actually awesome, man. Every song on this thing is really good. There are a couple bonus tracks on this one which really clearly came from like a demo that it doesn't sound as good as the rest of the record. But songs are still solid. Like, if I had transitioned this one to one without bonus tracks, I probably would have taken on without the bonus tracks to preserve the integrity of the original album. But I definitely don't feel like my enjoyment of this record is in any way like hampered by, some bonus tracks stuck in at the end. So, all right. Well, now comes the part where a lot of you are probably going to tune out because you know who else I've been listening to a lot of? I'll give you a hint. I kind of started myself off listening to this, man. Fucking Birds. I just want to hear this record the other day. This is actually the only one I have. I should probably get one or two more because I really like the Birds. I didn't appreciate these guys either until I got into like hippie shit a few years ago. Because like, if you'd asked me 20 years ago, if you'd asked me 10 years ago, I'd have been like, I just fucking, all the hits were covers. And they just kind of, overproduced shit, but it's actually really good, man. First of all, Turn, Turn, Turn is a great song, man. But He Was a Friend of Mine is great on here. The World Turns All Around Here is a great song. I kind of like their Oh Susanna rendition. Although it's funny, I didn't realize how racist the original versions of Oh Susanna were. That's one of those things that, like, perpetually sucks about, like, American folk music, like the history of music in America, like how much of it is just like fucking racist, And in fact, in a little way, it's kind of funny, because like black metal guys these days, they'll like buy a record and be like, oh fuck, dude, they're fucking Nazis, And it's like, you go all like that's like new shit. You go back 150 years though, you're digging that shit, like fucking Camptown Races and shit like that. And you go, fuck, this is racist too. God damn it, man. It's just like with the black metal. So I guess some things never change, but hopefully it will. One thing that surprised me moving to South Carolina was meeting racists who knew racism was wrong. Like, I had a conversation with a guy not so long after I moved here, and he didn't say racist, he said racial, right? He was like, oh, and the way he was talking about it, I was like, yeah, I know I really shouldn't, but this and that. I was like, Dude, if the racists think that racism was wrong, then like we kind of won, you know. I'm not denying anything about like systemic racism or way to go in this country. I could talk about my own like little things I've noticed in my own life. I've been raised as, you know, a white kid, raised by parents who genuinely didn't intend to raise me in that kind of way at all and thought racism was wrong. You know what I mean? Just that shit is like, it's like a fucking virus is what it's like. Anyway, that's a big digression. You know who else I've been listening to a lot of? Fucking The Dead. And you know which records I reach for the most? Like this one, Working Man's Dead, and fucking American Beauty. Like the ones with like the obvious songs on them, right? And it's funny because for so many years, I mean, always, and like I would probably say this to people too, it's always like, oh, it's The Dead, it's about the jams and shit, you know what I mean? But like, I've spent a lot of time listening to like giant long jams, you know what I mean? Like Asherah Temple and Cosmic Jokers and shit like that. I mean, and that was even before I got into jazz, you know? Like a side long, just like band jamming, I can totally hang with that kind of shit. So like with The Dead, the whole like sort of folky thing they were doing, which is why I went for it after the Birds, you know? The kind of folky thing that they were doing on these, maybe even a little bit country tinged, like that kind of feels more challenging to me than like the long jams, you know what I mean? That are like what the band is ostensibly about. We listen to like a show and they play like a fucking 45-minute like version of some song. That doesn't faze me at all. That's just like normal to me, you know? But like a 3.5-minute song that sounds like a little country-ish, you know, like a song like A Friend of the Devil. One of my favorite songs by them. Fucking Sugar Magnolia, man. I love this shit, you know? Addicts of My Life. Yeah, I really like these fucking Dead records, man. I probably have, like, kind of a lot. I listened to this today, too. These are all in beautiful shape, because these are all reissues. If you're worried about reissue quality, the Dead reissues that, I think it was Rhino who did them. A couple years ago, they did a really nice job on them. These all sound great. Alright. So if you hung in here this long, I got one more little thing to show off. A lot of people probably tuned out when I finished with the metal, but I'm going to bring it back around to Donovan now, okay? Like I said, I really like Donovan. This is my copy of Mellow Yellow. Not in perfect shape, obviously, but this is one that I found in the wild a long time ago. And it's funny, I'm not sure I should feel like putting this on YouTube, but in my copy of Mellow Yellow, I keep a birth announcement from my wife. And I'm not going to show you like the printing on it and shit. I'm not really sure she gave this to me, but I've had this in this record for like 30 years probably at this point. Yeah, it's like printed on a dot matrix printer along the top, like name and like the parents' names and like, you know, weight, that kind of shit. You won't be able to read it through the thing anyway, but I'm going to cover that up and just look at that though. The birth announcement on a punch card. How about that? Fucking, yeah. I don't think if you like match up the holes and shit that it'll actually say anything. I think it was just like a gag. But yeah, this is a great riff. It's so simple. And just perfect, you know? Alright. Well, if you hung in there and watched till the end, thank you. If you didn't, no, if you only watched the first 5 minutes, thank you for that too. I appreciate it. Seriously. And always appreciate the comments too. I love engaging with people. So, and as we see almost every video these days, y'all put me on to new shit all the time. You know, I can sit here, I have like, I don't know, 5,000 or 6,000 records, something like that, maybe a year. There's still a whole world. I'm not going to live long enough to hear everything I want to hear. So bring it on, man. I'll fucking take it all in. If it sucks, I'll tell you it sucks. But if it's great, then you made a fucking convert, right? I don't know what this channel's about, if not that. Alright, thanks for watching. Yeah, I'll see you next time. Who knows what the fuck I'm going to be listening to then.